Okay, fellas, we're back with real life opinions.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Guess the two of us.
You and I.
Will Smith or oh my god, I forget.
Dr. Evil?
No, not where I was going with that, but I was going with Bill Weathers, but Dr. Evil as well. Then when I think of Dr. Evil singing, I think of It's a Hard Knock Life.
Yeah.
That's what I think of Dr. Evil.
I was singing that the other day, and someone's like, why are you singing Annie? I'm like, oh, right, that's what that's from.
I was singing Goldmember, Get It Right, or Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Oh, so what are we doing tonight, Corey?
We are a little late to the party, but we decided to rewind some time, and we're doing the first Twister movie.
Excellent movie with the classic pairing of Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt.
Yes. And the real star of the show, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He is a delight in this movie.
This was kind of like everybody's introduction to him. I think he was around before that, but this was the movie that everybody really found out who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because he's such a two-dimensional, lazy character in this, and he became such a method actor afterwards, and yet, yeah, this is where we got it.
Well, you got to get your foot in the door somewhere, right? Like Sean Penn. Who would have thought he'd ever go anywhere from Spicoli?
Yeah, to Milk.
Yeah. Like that's a... Wow, is this a cool movie about a stoner? No. No, it is not.
Stoner, gay politician, whatever.
Yeah. So, those that listened last week, Laura's taking a vacation, and Mike's also taking some time away as well. So
Mike's on a hiatus.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing Mike when he's back. And Laura, she said she's taking a 3-week vacation, so...
Something like that, yeah.
So she'll be back around the end of August. We're not too sure when our dear friend Mike is coming back, so... gonna miss you both, you guys. I'm gonna miss Laura's point of view on stuff and her occasional... I actually agree with Jeff. I need someone to be the I actually agree with Jeff guy.
Good luck.
Right? And Mike brings a certain enthusiasm that we're going to miss on the podcast here for a while. But
a certain, I don't know what. Which was one of my favorite lines in Austin Powers. I don't know why we're still talking about Austin Powers, but because that line was so tongue-in-cheek that if you didn't catch it, you missed it type thing.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's so tongue-in-cheek.
When he's like, Austin Powers always wins because he has mojo. And they're like, mojo? Yes, the libido, the right stuff. What the French call a certain, I don't know what. And if you know the translation, je ne sais quoi, which is what's always used for that sort of thing. But he actually says it out.
Oh, is that the translation?
Yeah.
That's that does make it more funny.
It does.
Yeah.
Jamie Gertz, as much as she didn't age badly, I can't stand her.
She's one of the richest people in Hollywood.
I saw that.
Yeah, all you got to do is marry a billionaire.
Yeah, and, just sit on your ass and collect your royalties, I guess.
Yeah. Can we talk about the beginning of this movie? The classic 1996 Dodge truck commercial?
Yeah.
As a child, this came out when I was... how old were you when this came out? I must have been, 12.
I was 17.
You were 17? So you're...
Well, not quite, because this came out in July, and birthday was in August, but basically 17.
Well, so. When did you first see it? Did you see it in the theater?
I'm sure I did, yeah.
I was not a theater kid. I got to see it once it was out on VHS, and finally made it to our local corner store, which was about... Most movies came out about a year from when they came out in my world.
It was, even in general, when I first started at Blockbuster, it was 6 months minimum from theater to physical.
Well, where I lived, it was just came out in the theater, and then the good video stores got it, and then eventually we got it afterwards. That's how that worked. We didn't get the new releases there. Yeah, it was was
Ooh, uppercut.
almost a full year before we got new releases. It always kind of puzzled me as a kid. Like I thought I seen an advertisement for this movie out right now, or like when I'd see only in theaters. I mean, like, well, why can't I watch it on VHS? Super confused me.
Again, I worked at Blockbuster from 2005 to 2011, and there were still people. Hey, do you have this movie? It's still in theaters. Yeah. Are you an idiot?
Well, like that's just an area that, like, if you don't know, you don't. Why would you know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like common knowledge, like movie buffs.
I guess.
But like, if you're not a movie buff, hey, this movie exists. Why don't you have it, right?
Yeah.
You've got a whole wall that says new releases. So the opening scene of this movie scared the bejesus out of me as a kid.
And then could you imagine now watching that in like IMAX 3D?
Oh man, like that whole scene holds up,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like they do a good job of telling, not showing, right?
Yeah.
And like the primitive CGI in this movie. I'm bearing all the leads in this show, but like we'll get to there. But that scene there, they were just like, we know what the CGI looks like. We're gonna keep enough away that this whole thing looks super realistic. Like, it wasn't hyper realistic. Like they could do a better job nowadays, right? But that was a good tension building scene.
One of the trivias about this movie that became common knowledge for most people, but do you know, what did they use for the sound of the tornadoes?
Oh, it was some sort of... It was two animals, was it not?
One for sure, yeah.
Oh, I can't recall what it was, though.
It was a camel.
It was a camel?
Yeah.
Huh.
This is, I think, the first movie that I got addicted to the trivia. I looked up, who did this? And then, like, Alan Ruck being in this, right? Like...
Yeah. Well, I knew him from... I didn't see Ferris Bueller till I was an adult. So I knew him from Spin City. I was like, hey, it's a Spin City guy.
Yeah.
That's how I knew him. And everyone's just like, no, he's the Ferris Bueller guy. I'm like, Ferris Bueller? Never heard of that one.
Yeah, and then Carrie Ewells or Elwes, or I've never figured out how to pronounce that. I was told it was Ewells, but I just don't like it. So
that's another one. Like, I seen Princess Bride when I was a kid, but I didn't realize that was the same guy. I just knew him. He plays such a good douchebag.
Yeah, although he was fun in Robin Hood Men in Tights too.
Well, his two most famous roles, he's like a lovable good guy, yet every time I see him as a villain, he is so good.
Yeah. I liked him in Saw too.
Oh, that was probably one of his best roles, to be honest.
Well, not even so much. I mean, the first one, obviously, but when you see him come in later on in the franchise, it was really good. I don't want to spoil that, but
I cannot remember when he comes back into the franchise, but it's pretty
later.
late on,
it's
right?
Later. I think it's at least 8. So no, 8 is Jigsaw. That wasn't it. 'Cause that was a flashback movie. So maybe it wasn't till 9.
I can't remember. I've only seen...
No, but 9 was Spiral, so that wasn't it either.
I don't know if I've seen...
Must have been 7.
I haven't seen 10.
I haven't seen 10 yet, and it's bugging me that I haven't seen 10 yet.
I don't think I've seen 9 or 8 yet.
Spiral was okay. That was the Chris Rock one.
Well, and Chris Rock was in the first one, wasn't he?
No.
I thought Chris Rock was in the first one.
No.
Who was in the first one, then, that I think is Chris Rock?
I don't know.
It was a famous... It was either Chris Rock, and people would be like, how can you confuse that? Or Donald Glover. But only it was Donald Glover.
Yeah, no, it was...
Was it Donald Glover?
It was, freaking...
Or Danny Glover.
Danny Glover, yeah.
Yeah, not
Danny
Donald Glover.
Yeah, Donald Glover probably wasn't born yet. But maybe he was. But...
when the first song
Yeah,
came
he
out.
probably was, but
Yeah, because when did Community come out? That was like 08-ish, 07-ish?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, so maybe he was like 10 years old when Saw came out.
Who's the eyebrows? I know eyebrows. I can't.
On the good guys there?
No, on the bad guys. They just showed him, and he's always plays a bad henchman.
Oh, okay. So, like the big guy with the curly hair there?
No, he didn't have curly hair. He just had like huge flat
I'll have to take a look,
eyebrows.
yeah. But speaking of other good guy person, Sean Whalen.
Sean Whalen. Which one's Sean Whalen?
He is the one of the big teeth on the good guys, the skinny guy with the reddish hair.
Oh yes, yes. What?
He was in his big thing was People Under the Stairs.
I've never seen that.
But he was also I can't remember what else he did. It's just escaped me. But he was in another horror movie too that I can think of. But
This is just going to be me asking you random facts this whole movie.
yeah.
That's what this movie's going to be, okay?
Oh, by the way, there's a movie playing.
Yeah, there's a movie playing. And we're going to talk about the trivia in the background.
You know how certain British actors can't quite escape the accent, so they put cotton wads in the back of their teeth there?
Mm-hmm.
This movie is so painfully obvious that Carrie Ellis does. And I remember the first few Gerard Butler movies, like American Gerard Butler movies, was so bad because you can see he's holding his jaw in and he's talking, so his mouth never fully opens, and it's quite distracting actually. So
I've never noticed before. But I don't think I knew that cotton ball thing either.
yeah, there are those little the things that dentists use, the little tubes, the cotton cylinders there that they get you to bite on. Anyway,
I don't even. Now I don't know what you're talking about even.
we'll see if you go to the dentist.
Well, I go to the dentist quite often. He
Actually,
has me like I bite on like a metal thing that digs into my cheek.
Oh, yeah, those things. I hate
Yeah.
those things.
Oh, they're the worst, right?
Yeah, I actually have to get an impression done. I'm getting a splint made. So,
Mm-hmm. What do you need a splint for?
Because I clench, and it's bad.
Oh, you mean like a mouth guard then?
Yeah, they're called splints.
They didn't call mine a splint.
Yeah,
Who's your dentist?
cha.
Oh, you know what? If you're listening, Dr. Shaw, sorry. Get a new dentist. I recommend the guy that just built the new building, Mirror Lake Dental.
Oh, Mirror Lake Dental.
Yeah.
Okay.
Highly, highly recommend Dr. Din. Highly cannot recommend enough. I used to have CHA for a lot of years. And not to be shooting down dentists on the pot. Man, this is some riveting conversation. Eh? Talking about Camrose Locale dentists, of all things.
Welcome to the exciting metropolis of Camrose.
We could be talking about the movie that's going on in the background, but
Well, only just now did something actually finally start happening. Let's be honest.
well, her mom died. Okay, that's the big bushy guy you're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he always plays a bad guy
Yeah.
too.
I'm pretty sure he's one of the henchmen in
Okay,
Jumanji.
there's eyebrows. Oh, you missed him. He had like a big forehead and straight eyebrows. I know you'll know him when you see him.
I'm sure I will.
Oh, is this Van Halen? This is
No.
Van Halen. I don't know who this
Pretty
is.
sure that's Eric Clapton, actually. So,
Really? I'm not listening to the music. I just saw.
well, it's harder now on the sped up mode.
Yes, it is harder now. I do swear, man. I'll save it for later. But there's some things about these scenes like this when they're driving that I love this.
They actually, I mean, for the fact that 99% of car driving in movies is done with a cutout car or the trailer, everything like that, I think the car scenes are quite realistic in this movie.
This is just like a bunch of real people.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait till later, but that's kind of like the beauty of this movie. And this is the first tornado they go chase, right?
Yeah.
And you just get a feel for all these personalities, and all it is people driving.
Yeah.
And they're just like they're stoked because there's a tornado they're heading towards, right?
Mm-hmm. Except for, again, Jamie Gertz and her character. I could throw away her character so easily in this movie and it wouldn't be a loss.
Well, you know, Steven Spielberg was an executive producer, so there had to be some sort of divorce line in this thing. He just loves his divorce, right?
It was, in fact, he's had like 3 wives himself, so...
Isn't he still married to what's her pickle from Temple of Doom?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Kate Capshaw.
She must be a better lady in person than she is an actor. Did I give my glowing recommendation to Dr. Din, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I highly, highly, highly suggest switching. Actually, how's Chaw's been since the new building?
Honestly, it's like a doctor or like when you go to a doctor for having a kid,
Yeah.
it's the nurse that does all the work. The doctor's just there to catch. That's basically what he is.
He missed a really bad infection that I kept getting in my mouth, and all Dr. Den did to find it was move the X-ray machine. Oh, guess Bill Paxton's a terrible driver in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, does he not think at all? And I love how they just consistently made him a terrible driver. Like, he's never really a good driver in this show. Like, name one scene where
he's always distracted, which is obviously signs of a bad driver. So,
well, at least he's better than his girlfriend, Judy Girth.
Jamie Gertz.
Jamie Girth?
Gertz.
Yeah, I knew that.
Gertz.
I will call her the billionaire. Can I just call her the
All right,
billionaire?
let's call her the billionaire.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I guess you guys distracted. You're not looking at the tornado. Okay. Why do they keep? Oh yeah, turn gentle, eh? Don't turn sharp in this thing. That thing would have flew out the back of that truck.
You talking about the fifth wheel? Or not the fifth wheel, but the...
Dorothy. I'm talking about Dorothy
okay.
out of the back.
I was talking about that trailer would have gone... Are you talking about him, by the way? The driver?
I don't think so. No, the driver's not eyebrows. You know, he always seems to play like a Weasley guy as well, right?
Well, that's Joe Flaherty, isn't it?
I think you're right.
Yeah. He was from Second City TV and Happy Gilmore.
There's just like a bunch of comedians in this, eh?
Yeah.
Which I didn't really realize.
Well, Helen Hunt was known for comedy, right? I mean, Mad About You was a massive cultural thing in the 90s. So.
Yep. Well, and it's impressive her run she did in the 90s. I think people forget, like, she had a pretty successful... See, here's what I'm talking about, him being a bad driver. He picks this trench he can't get out of.
Yeah.
Like, why would you pick this trench you can't get out of? And this is a shame. This is a beautiful truck. You can't find Jeep trucks like this anymore.
Well, unfortunately, the only Jeep truck now is that stupid Guardian, which looks like...
Gladiator?
Gladiator? Okay, my bad, yeah.
There's Andy, if you're listening, your Gladiator's not totally stupid. It looks a little ridiculous, but it's not totally stupid, okay? I've got 2 co-workers with Gladiators, and
wow.
Andy said he might listen to the podcast.
Andy, I don't know who you are, but listen, damn it.
That means you have to say nice things about the Gladiator.
No.
Apparently, they're really good 4x4 trucks.
All right.
Like, why is he going to hit the... Why would you hit the bridge? Why is he doing this? Yes, that rickety old bridge with the tractor on there, that's where you're going to be safe.
Obviously.
Like, for fuck's sake, just let her open up the hatch. Like, it would have taken her 2 seconds to open up the hatch, then go to safety.
Yeah, but you still have to turn it on. You still have to...
Well...
Blah, blah, blah. And unstrap it, because they thought it didn't need to be strapped down at first.
Well, with the way he's turning corners, of course you need to strap it on.
Yeah.
This is not stuff a weatherman does.
Nope. That's right, Drake. Weatherman.
As much as he doesn't like that. Oh, this is a great scene.
This would have been so much easier to take out my stairs when I was changing them the other day.
If you just had a tornado come by. Localized tornado right on your steps, eh?
Yeah. Man, the nails were so rusted when I was doing that. Like, freaking no matter how much I was prying at it, it was just like, eek, eek, eek.
That's so weird. Oh, excuse the sigh, but, like, your house is not that old.
2002. Yeah.
Why is it rusted? Oh, I don't see your truck.
Look, she's a better driver than he is.
Oh, yeah. You know, vehicles in movies don't have this kind of character, do they, anymore? I feel like vehicles in general don't have this kind of character.
No. Well, one thing that really pissed me off, that truck is fucking not dirty. First of all, that pisses me off.
Yeah, one of them's flipped upside down.
They just went through a tornado. I mean, even if they didn't drive through it, they still residual. And look at that, the windows are still shiny. And then even the part where they're driving near the end with the house and everything like that, they have a tricycle smash through the windshield, and the next scene the windshield's fine. So continuity, not the strongest suit of this movie.
I think this was still back when movies weren't quite as scrutinized as they are now. Like, I feel like nowadays you have to have good continuity, right?
Well, especially now that we're here. Because
Yeah.
we will tear the fuck out of that movie. So.
Oh, I'm a lot more sad about that Jeep.
Now, my thing is, Dorothy got flipped, and there were pieces everywhere, and they're talking like later on about having to put the little wings on the ball. How would those balls still not get at least a little bit sucked up in that?
Right? Like, you would think... Like, the tractor's going around and round.
Yeah.
But these
Tractor
little
don't
balls...
got wings. Yeah.
Did somebody, like, cut some cans and put them on the tractor?
Yeah. Sexual tension.
You know, you just know they're going to... The movie's just got a movie, right? That's the only reason why Jamie Gerst is in here, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, we need a love triangle. Tornadoes is not enough for us.
Yeah. I think that's what I really liked, and I mean, we need to bring it up throughout too, is what I really liked about the sequel is how it looked like it was going to go the road of a love story, but it didn't. Like, in the end, they basically were just like best friends.
Well, you know, movies are...
Did you watch the new one?
I have not seen the new one. You can do spoilers on here, though, if you like.
There's not much to spoil. It was just a well laid out movie.
Let me guess. So, there's a person who used to chase tornadoes that comes back to chase tornadoes again, and they have a strong relationship with somebody that is leading the expedition to chase tornadoes, and they have an opposing tornado chasing team with them to get to these tornadoes, and it climaxes in a F5 tornado.
First of all, one of the things I hate about this movie is that every tornado is the next step. Oh, we have an F1. Oh, looks like it's a strong F2. Oh, no, look, we have an F3. Oh, now it's an F4. I'm like, oh my god, really? But anyway, no, in the second, yeah, like, well, I guess we can kind of almost make as much like a split
wait,
thing.
let me guess. They have to do something higher than an F5? Because it's the next... They don't do something better? That's the only thing I thought they might do.
There is definitely an F5 involved, but what happens is that there's the group, like the girl was chasing them when she was in college, and then shit happened. There's a big story there, and then she leaves because of what happened.
I was gonna say, I bet you instead of the guy leaving and coming back, it's the girl. I was gonna say
she leaves because of stress, because of what happened. Like, it's not that she becomes a weatherman. She leaves because of stress. And
you don't think this is a stressful job?
Well, again, you have to know the story that does happen. It's a full story.
Oh, okay.
But either way, and then
I'm going to guess that it involves a tornado.
Correct.
Wow.
So then there's this opposing group of like YouTube.
Okay, look at that laptop. Do you see the glory of that 1996 laptop? That thing's a fucking brick.
Yeah.
Like,
good choice.
My flip phone can do more than that thing can. Sorry. Carry on with the new twisters.
Anyway, yeah. So there's this group of like
tornado chasers.
That's right, storm. Anyway,
there's a storm going on in the background. Cool.
But yeah, so there's these tornado chasers that are like all about the YouTube fame and glory and everything like that. And so, you know, they're immediately the douches, right? Because they're only in it for the glory and blah, blah, blah.
We're scientists, right?
But there's a plot twist where the leader of that group, who you think is the most arrogant one of all, actually ends up helping.
Oh.
And there's more to it than that. But the fact that it's a dude and, you know, she's a girl in person, everyone's like, oh, there's going to be a love story. But there's not. That's what makes it so good, is they don't force a love story out of it. They're friends. Mm-hmm. Why are our lights flickering? I'm not very happy right now.
Well, you know, it's I I was in the storm the other night with the lightning.
Yeah.
It was probably the second, third craziest lightning I ever seen. Like, I swear I seen a touchdown in front of me.
It's
I was on my way to the lake station. It was in the middle of the night, and it was just like bang, 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 bang. The only time I can recall offhand seeing it worse was middle of night working in Pinoca years and years and years ago.
I was in the hospital, so I missed it completely.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you were in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, which, no answers from that, eh?
Nope. I got the results, but no answers from that.
Yeah, sometimes getting results doesn't mean getting
Yeah,
answers, right?
Well, they gave me an answer. It's just stupid.
Stupid answers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I was saying before, the whole Jamie Gertz angle with the sex therapist and the phone calls she takes, like it tries to be comic relief, but it just comes across as pretentious.
Wait a minute. I thought she was a normal therapist.
She's a reproductive therapist. They say that in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Because
there goes a cow.
She's a therapist, and she looks there funny. She's a reproductive therapist.
There's another cow.
I think it's the same one.
Oh. That's convenient. Those tornadoes get split like that, eh? So that we're gonna have a twin tornado for like another type of tornado.
Yeah. Oh.
A reproductive. It'll be fine. The Dodge truck is the hero of this movie.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen.
It really is, isn't it?
It really is the hero of this movie. Oh, it's 3 tornadoes, not just 2. 3. Look at that Dodge Ram tough.
And look, it's still clean.
How? How?
What kind of wax does he use?
It's hilarious how she like keeps getting these calls from these clients while they're in the middle of the tornado. I can't talk to you right now.
I can't talk, Julia. We got cows.
The cell phones. Hey, you make fun of me about my flip phone. That's a real flip phone that she's got.
I love how great the cell service is throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, there's no way in 1996 the cell service was that good.
In like buttfuck nowhere, there should be no cell service.
In a fucking tornado?
Yeah.
Like, the tornado is going to mess with your cell service. Though we did see that really egregious CGI satellite in the beginning there, so like maybe it's got great satellite service. The CGI at the beginning of this movie is really, really bad. I'm glad that they are smart enough just to like have a minimal effect on the CGI.
Yeah. What was that foreshadowing right there?
Oh, that they're gonna go to a. What's her name again here? Ellie?
Meg?
Meg?
Yeah.
I love the eccentric aunt. There's not enough movies with eccentric aunts.
She was the grandma or whatever in True Blood.
I've never seen True Blood.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I have no intention on ever watching True Blood. Oh, you know what? I blame this movie for the downfall of two-tone vehicles now that I look at it. You look at that, bright red Dodge, and everyone's like, oh, that's so cool. And then they got, like, the crappy two-tone vehicle behind it. I love two-tone vehicles, but, like, it just looked like shit. So she's just got, like, all these steak and eggs on hand for all these people, eh?
Well, I like that line. It's like, wow, you got a lot of meat, Meg. Where'd you get it? She's like, you see my cows up front? No. Oh?
But she's not on a farm.
That's true.
Like, I thought she was on a farm every time I watched it. I swear it was a Mandela effect that she was on a farm. And then she's in the middle of, it's not Wichita, which I always thought it was. Wakita.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Wichita.
I know, so did I actually.
Oh.
And they're just loading up. I don't remember her name. Melissa. Melissa's played Jamie Gertz. And she's just like, oh my god, like, 'cause she's a city slicker through and through. Mm-hmm. So she's like, no idea about this country life. So
this feels so realistic to me. Just like, I have friends that would do that, like, food, we need subsistence, right? And like, totally just crash at my parents' place and like load up the way they're doing. Or at least I used to have friends like
I
that.
still do that.
Yeah. I not that I don't have my friends like that. I guess we don't do that anymore now that we're older. But we totally do that out at Dad's. Be like, hey, there's 7 of us. Do you have food?
Yeah, I was bad for that, and I still kind of am. So
I feel like you wouldn't do it as much as you used to in your younger days.
you would think.
But still, eh?
Whenever I go to Airdrie, or even when I was living there for a bit, and I'd go to see my mom's place, and she'd be like, grab something to eat from the fridge if you want. I would just load up.
Oh, yeah? My Chris, Blaze, if you're listening, I love you guys. They just came for a visit down to our place. I know Blaze listens a little bit, so shout out Blaze. We're getting all sorts of shout outs tonight. So they show up at our house, and I don't know if those two have not been eating or not, but we make a little bit of extra food, and then the 2 of them eat as much as my family of 5 does. We're just kind of like, okay, I wasn't expecting this. But farm fresh food, right? Of course, they get all their vegetables from the Hutterites down there too, so I shouldn't say they don't have farm fresh. We got a lot more farm fresh meat than they do, but...
Yeah.
I was making burgers, and what we do in my house, I make 1 burger per person.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And
well, we make them homemade, that is.
I go on, I ask Chris, hey, and we only had enough burgers, 1 for everybody. I'm like, hey, burger's gonna be enough for you. Oh yeah, 2 burgers is gonna be perfect for me and Blaze. I'm like, no, I only have enough for 1 burger a piece. He's like, oh, well that will not be enough, Jeff. Oh well.
Yeah, we whenever Lisa makes burgers, because she makes like an amazing homemade burger, we only do enough, for like 1 each, or we'll make them like this big and we'll make 2 each type
Well,
thing. So.
a homemade burger though, they're so fat when you do it homemade.
Yeah. And they shrink so much on the barbecue too. So
I don't think he listens. My scout cohort Brody, amazing guy. He did smash burgers at one of our camps, and I don't get it. Like, it sounds cool, but all you're doing is just squishing down the patty, and I kind of making the patty kind of go all over the place. And they're like, yeah, it's a smash burger. You smash it.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't make much sense to me either, but it's a trend right now. Not that she's got smash burgers on here or homemade patties. It's pure steak.
Yes.
Do you think her house is going to blow away later in the movie? With all the tornado symbolism?
No.
And I love how excited these guys are, eh? We got one, baby! There's a whole bunch of death and destruction going on.
Fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah! Oh, and look at that. She's sending a care package. That is so sweet. Like, I realize, like, it's a hyper-realistic situation with the tornado chasing, but they all feel like real characters, don't they?
Yeah, like, there's very much borderline two-dimensionalism to almost every character, but at the same time, they feel real. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are pretty close to two-dimensional, yet guess the way they move, the way they talk, the way they act feels real. Like, it doesn't feel like a bunch of people acting.
Yeah.
Even though they're clearly acting. See, in middle of town.
Yeah, right?
Which I did not realize. Though, look at that town. It looks like you could totally have a farm in
That
your
is
backyard.
way too much green. Good lord. They obviously don't have water restrictions there.
Well, irrigation's big in that part of the state, so...
Yeah. Yeah, hence all those pipes earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, and I hear water is an issue down there, so I wonder how the irrigation's still going. Man.
Oh, here we go. Here's Van Halen.
Oh, this is Van Halen? Can we admire this collection of vehicles again?
Only if we can admire the song.
Okay, we can admire some Van Halen.
Alright.
Sped up in 1.5 speed.
Definitely not as good.
I'm doing it wrong. Guitar solo!
Eddie. But yeah, the vehicles like fit the people.
They kind of do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, the prim and proper, brand new people.
Yeah.
Oh,
The city folk now, right?
Yeah,
So
the city folk in their fancy red truck.
that doesn't seem to get dirty.
Yeah, impervious to dirt.
Yeah.
That truck is impervious to tornadoes and dirt.
I washed my truck on Thursday, and it's actually holding up pretty good right now. So.
Well, how come you don't have the impervious to dirt Dodge?
I actually bought the little 3M thing on the front, so like halfway up the hood, so it doesn't get rock chips and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's
holy jeez. I take it back. Maybe she's not a better driver than him. I love how they didn't lose that camper. You strap it down a little better, right? The DOT would have a field day with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, well, apparently there's no like highway troopers at all in this movie. So.
You know how you can tell the one guys are bad guys?
Black.
Yeah. Black, generic, brand new vehicles. We got somebody in a station wagon. We've got a camper on the back of an old pickup truck. We've got the Hero Dodge truck. They've got black vans.
Although the one truck of theirs is a Chev, so they're not all Dodge.
Oh, well, I don't think they're total Dodge snobs in this movie.
They're pretty damn close, but yeah, you're right, not total. So,
like I think there's only one Dodge in the Hero lineup.
Well, and the Jeep, the yellow vehicle. Jeep is a Dodge, so.
Oh, I guess a Jeep is a Dodge, isn't it? Was a Jeep a Dodge?
I was just gonna say I don't know if it was back then, but.
Yeah, I don't know if a Jeep was a Dodge back then, but yeah, he's definitely in a Chev. Evil Chevy.
But they're vans, like they all have caravans, the rest of them. So.
Mm-hmm. I should see what the station wagon is. That station wagon looks like a.
Who made station wagons?
I think they all made station wagons for a while, but like that generation of station wagon, I don't know. I want to say it was like a LeSabre. Who made LeSabre? Buick, and that's owned by Chevy.
Yeah.
Oh! There's a storm coming.
Weird.
Let me guess. Does the leader of the other group have like a instinct about the tornadoes that science just can't tell you?
The other group? Like the bad guy group in the other one?
No. Like the leader of the bad guy group. No, there's no way he'd have instincts.
Oh, you're talking about this movie? I thought you were...
No. I'm talking about in the other movie.
In the new movie.
In the new movie called
No,
Twisters.
it's the girl who has the instinct.
She's got the instinct.
Yeah.
Well, of course. You know what? Now that I think about it, I should have known that because it's always the person that comes back, right?
Yeah.
That has the instincts about it. That's why they need them to come back.
Well, what's funny is instead of leaving to going a weatherman, she actually leaves and she ends up working for NSSL. So.
What's NSSL?
The National Severe Storm, blah, blah, blah. That company, that office.
Was she supposed to become a weatherman in that movie?
No, but I'm saying, like, instead of her leaving to become a weatherman, she leaves and becomes a scientist.
Well, that's kind of what should happen here, right? They talk about getting a lab.
Yeah.
Right? Does this movie exist in there? Oh my god, there's an arbitrarily large number of things he has to flick. No wonder he
That's
told her.
what I'm saying, yeah. So
I did not pay attention to how many things he had to flip. Oh, look at it. There's trees and hail landing on this Dodge truck that's impervious to dirt.
And it still looks fine.
Yeah, looks 100% fine.
The only connection, spoiler, of Twisters and Twister is for a brief millisecond they show a Dorothy.
Really?
And that is it.
Really?
They don't, and I was really hoping they would. They don't even go the route of, oh, this was Bill Paxton and Hella Hunt's child and all this stuff. They didn't even do that. So.
Well, did they acknowledge that Dorothy got up in the air, or was it like a scene in the background?
It's the opening scene in the new movie, and they actually use Dorothy.
Oh, really?
But yet, during the movie, they're like, "Oh, we're trying to figure out how to predict the storms." I'm like, wasn't that the point
solved
of
that in
Dorothy?
the first one.
Yeah. But then they end up doing like the whole point of the movie is they figure out a way how to make a tornado dissolve.
Ah,
so
that when they're fighting the tornadoes.
Essentially, so.
Oh, look, that trike hit the window.
Oh, sorry. I was wondering if that was intentional or not.
Oh, you see, she hit the brakes though, so that trike might have flown off. But doesn't. Oh no, it's still there.
Oh, look at all the hail damage on the truck. You know, the next
None.
scene it's going to be like completely clean, right?
Yeah,
No, there actually is hail damage. Look at it.
but there. Yeah, the next scene there's not going to be.
It's going to be mint. Yeah, and that I hate those straps. I freaking hate ratchet.
Okay,
straps
I gotta
so
rewatch
much.
this scene because I swore the power pole landed on the truck, not just Dorothy. So I gotta rewatch this scene because I told my wife after it came through. Yeah, it totally lands on the truck.
Smashes the bed.
Yeah, it smashes, and that is not smashed later on. Look at how beat this shit.
It's not even on the truck at that point.
I am like almost positive that truck is in fantastic shape. Why is Faraday wearing a helmet? Sorry, Faraday from Lost. I don't know his real name.
Oh, I didn't know who that was.
I don't even think he talks. Oh, yeah, he talks a little bit at this movie. What a... Is this what movies do wrong nowadays? They don't get the nerdy bunch right.
Maybe.
They just... Ensembles nowadays... I don't know. What's the group like in the new movie? Do they feel like real people or are they pretty terrible?
They, honestly, the character development and the group tension, for lack of better words, is quite amazing in the new movie.
Really?
Like, the new movie is, I hate to say it, but a much better movie than this.
Really?
So,
there's not really character development in this movie.
hey, look, the tricycle's back. But the windshield's fine.
Windshield's totally fine. And look, there's no dents on the box of the truck anymore. That's surprising for you to say that it's a better movie. I thought it would be on par, not better.
It's not much better. I mean,
I would imagine the CGI is better.
I mean, you got to be real with this movie. It's a cult classic. It's well done, but in the grand scheme of things, this really isn't a good movie. Like, there's so many movies got a movie moments that it takes away from it being a good movie.
This was like on the cusp of disaster movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, this was
Well, this kind of brought out all the disaster movies because, like, Day After Tomorrow, frickin'
2012.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Armageddon.
Yeah. Armageddon would have been only a year later, I think. So
no, it was quite a few. It was like 2 or 3 years later.
Wasn't Armageddon still in the 2000? Or wasn't it?
It was
in the
98 or 99.
Okay, and this was 96.
Well, this came out when I was living in Bymore. Armageddon came out when I was living in Camrose. So I know there's a bit of a difference.
There you go.
Dante's Peak, Volcano. They all came out at. I'm not sure if this was the very first of all those movies, but it was right around that time, right? Yeah. Oh, look, it's The Shining. And we have a customer. We have a request to do this movie, eh?
And then she wants us to compare the miniseries from the movie.
I have never seen the miniseries. Is it any good?
Yes. 120% more book accurate.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean something's good.
Because of that, and it's made for TV movie, like it, all that. So no, it's not as good, but it's so much more faithful.
I got to see The Shining at the Bailey Theater. It was an amazing, amazing experience watching The Shining in the theater. We also watched The Exorcist the same day, and The Exorcist, you're gonna hate me for this, is a terrible movie, Corey. Exorcist is an awful movie.
It is a terribly slow start, but it's a fantastic movie.
It's not a good movie. It is...
What is bad about it?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Like, I cannot think of one good thing in that movie. I was bored to tears for 90% of it, and then was just like, yeah, whatever for the rest of it.
Well, they tried so hard to get the side story, which was the story of Karras losing faith and the story with his mother, to carry the movie when it wasn't exorcisming, that part failed. And you're right, and that was probably the biggest chunk of the movie. Because the only exorcism part was probably 20 minutes out of the movie.
Yeah, like the
So
end,
yeah,
right?
like the slow stuffs were painfully slow, but they were a necessary thing. Especially this was 1974, right? Like, so they couldn't really.
But The Shining wasn't much afterwards in that movie.
Shining was 80.
Is The Shining that new?
Yeah.
I swore The Shining was like in the 70s, huh? The Shining gripped me the whole movie, right?
Well,
Even
that's
through some of the slow
Kubrick,
parts.
right? Kubrick knows how to grip you. Absolutely.
Don't you love that they're at a drive-in movie?
Yeah. I believe it was not terribly long after this came out. They put Twister at a drive-in theater, and there was a tornado there too.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. Like
irony
tragic.
isn't used enough these days.
Tragic, but hilarious. Uh-oh. It's going to Wichita.
Wichita?
Wichita.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Man, you know, I feel sorry for her character in this movie. The Jamie Gertz character. She really does nothing wrong here.
No.
Like,
She's annoying as fuck, but none of the stuff that happens is her fault.
she's not even like she's annoying, but is she annoying as fuck?
I think so. I can't stand her in this movie. Like, I
Oh.
cannot stand her in this movie. But, again, none of it's her fault.
Yeah. Yeah, how can you... You know, you're competing with Helen Hunt when she's, like, dripping wet there with him. Like,
Helen Hunt in her prime was a specimen. So
yeah. She just got that look to her, right? Like, she's not what you would think when you're thinking, oh, yeah, a super sexy lady. But, man, she's just gorgeous. I don't want to call her super sexy. She's just fucking gorgeous.
She's very, very, very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie Gertz was hot in Lost Boys. Don't get me wrong. But
I totally forgot that was her in Lost Boys.
yeah.
Man, like, why would you want to drive in theater in Tornado Alley?
Yeah, right?
What do you think the chances are in real life this many tornadoes hitting all at once, too?
Pretty slim.
Like, they must not be traveling much more than, like, an hour's radius of every place they're traveling. Oh, yeah, I better tell... Tell these people there's a tornado coming. Oh, you better run now. Nobody else has noticed this fucking tornado.
By the way.
By the way, guys. There's a giant tornado that we can see for miles. Almost here. Why don't we create some movie tension?
And that's the thing. Oh, we need to predict him. Well, you could look outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when we had that small one hit in Daysland there probably about 10 plus years ago there.
Yeah.
I watched it form.
Did you really?
I did, because I was working at Blockbuster coincidentally, and our windows faced east, and I could see like the wall of black cloud, and then below it was like clear. It was like so surreal, and I watched the cloud just in this one spot get lower and lower and lower. I'm like,
oh, wow.
I said that's a tornado. I'm glad that's not here because you could see it was far enough away. But and again, it just touched down in a field, so it was fine. But that's when the 7-Eleven gas roof collapsed there and everything like that. And
well, that was the big storm, that Big Valley, and that wasn't a tornado.
no, that wasn't the Big Valley one, was it?
When,
Maybe I'm getting the two mixed up there.
When
But
7-Eleven sign came down,
Yeah.
that was Big Valley.
oh, okay, so I got those mixed up.
I've got pictures of that year.
So the Big Valley storm was nuts because we went into Superstore just to go shopping, and it was gray, but that was about it outside. We're in there for 15 minutes. We come out, it's black. We're like, what the shit? And we had Andrew, who was a toddler still, in the cart, and it was Lisa and I, and we're going to the vehicle, and all of a sudden, the wind started picking up, and her shirt was lifting up from the wind, and she was getting pelted with gravel. Her back was, scraped, and I was right at the vehicle, and all of a sudden, that wind happened, and a rogue box out of nowhere came and smoked me in the back of the head.
What?
And I'm like, holy fuck. Like it was intense.
What kind of box?
I don't know.
Was it You don't know if it was cardboard or?
Well, it was cardboard.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm more thinking like it could have been a wooden box.
No,
for
no,
all
no,
I
no,
know.
no. It didn't knock me out or anything, but it definitely surprised me, and it was nuts. Like that wind was crazy. I love the. Sorry, back to the movie for a quick sec. The fact that they got a movie with Judy Garland playing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of tornado little nods in this movie.
Yeah.
Like this was actually like a clever Easter eggish type movie, and that's probably where it gained some of its cultness from, right? Like there's all sorts of little rewards if you rewatch this movie.
I think most directors are smarter than people give them credit for, especially for movies that arguably aren't good. There's more, I find, nods in terrible movies than there are in good movies.
Well, it's funny with this one with all the nods, and then gets like the hero truck that gets like magically heals itself.
Yeah. It's a Deadpool truck, that's why it's red and black. So
look, she's got foliage in her hair. Oh. Oh, it's going to Wichita. Wakita. Yeah, I'm going to say it wrong every time. See, I'm trying
I want you to say it at the end of the podcast and see if you get it right.
Wakita.
Wakita.
Like La Femme. La Femme Wakita. That's how I'll remember it.
Doesn't start with an N, though.
Well, close enough. I still can't get over how, like, this is Philip Seymour Hoffman's Spicoli role.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
100%. He, yeah, who would have thought? I almost thought, what's the other disaster movie with Jack Black? I almost thought they were the same guy for half a second the first couple times I watched this before they both got famous. Jack Black's got a role like this in like a movie.
King Kong?
No. Long before King Kong. It was well before he was big.
I can't remember.
I mean, it's a movie that's similar-ish to this, so I used to actually get the two of them confused at the time until they both became big. Because both of them were unknowns at this time, right? That's going to bug me. So that the day of that big storm, I was out by kind of by Denelda area there, celebrating Grandpa Francis's. Oh man, I hope some of the Francis boys are listening to this podcast. I miss you boys. Brent, James, Kenny, Thomas, all you fellas. I miss you guys dearly. We were having a birthday party for his grandpa, and we took an old satellite dish and we were sailing with it. I didn't know till we came back how bad it was.
Oh, that dead's still there in the truck in that scene.
Oh, is it still there?
Yeah, see?
Oh, well, I am wrong.
But
the hail damage seems gone.
Yeah.
Sure is not impacting the driving of that.
Well,
thing.
like most disaster or vehicle-based movies, there's usually like 50 of them used in the movie, so...
There's totally a hero truck, right?
Yeah.
That gets like, this is the one we drive around to scenes, and these are the ones we beat up, right? Do you think they're going to come onto her aunt's place
Well, that's right there.
and discover something happened to her?
Maybe.
Man, there's a lot of... This movie is easy to predict what's going on.
It is. It's pretty painfully predictable.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to say it's the most cliche movie of all time because, like, the actors and the characters make it good.
Yeah. You can't fault them, but...
The rest of the movie...
Now, does that go down to the director? Does that go down to the writer? Like, whose fault is this movie being as bad as it is? Like, the part that makes it bad. Whose the fault is that?
I think it's bad writing.
Okay.
Like, I think the director did a great job with this movie. Don't you? Like, the tense moments are tense. There's not, like, a bad... sometimes these movies can be jarring between, like, the light scenes and the tense scenes, and I don't feel like this is a jarring movie, do you?
No, and the cinematography is outstanding.
Yeah.
So...
Like, there's some unusual musical choices.
Like I said, I swore this was Danny Elfman the way this movie was, but I was wrong, so... Mr. Mancini, you're a hack.
Danny Elfman light, I would say. Danny
Yeah.
Elfman life. You're the Diet Coke of Danny Elfman's.
Just 1 calorie, not evil enough. Back in when CRT TV could be the cause of your death.
Man, they must really like those steak and eggs. To like climb, they just saw this building like collapsing on itself, and they're just like, we're climbing in there. We're climbing on in there. Oh, but she's getting out okay though.
She had a bump in the head and a broken wrist.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't she offer to like cook them some food?
I think she jokes about it, but yeah.
My dad had an aunt like that. Like, she's like literally on her deathbed and talking about sending dad home with pierogies and cabbage rolls.
That's awesome.
Like good old Ukrainian ladies, right? They love them old Ukrainian Bettys.
My grandma was so funny. Like, she was such a grandma, like my German grandma there. I came over for a visit, and she's like, "Do you want me to make you lunch?" I said, "Sure," because again, I won't turn to my lunch. And she made me some leftover KFC and some sausage, and I can't remember what else. In an oven, very similar to Grandma's Boy. In an oven on a baking sheet, pulled them out, and just serves them to me. And then I'm like full, and she's like, "Oh, you need more. You need more." I'm like, "No, I really don't." But the German part of her too is the sausage was blood sausage, which I
gross.
honestly liked.
Really?
But you don't want to look at it when you're eating it, so
It's kind of. I always thought blood sausage was gross. Now there's a lot of things now that I'm an adult that I will try that I always. thought
I
gross
could
as a kid.
never see a kid eating that stuff ever.
No. Like, how old were you when she was feeding this to you?
I'm pretty sure Lisa was with me, so
oh,
an adult,
wow,
so,
that's a.
yeah,
So it literally was like Grandma's Boy then.
yeah.
I thought you meant like you went over as like a teenager or something like that.
Lived in the same house in Humboldt their entire life until they didn't. So.
So now for a brief interlude where we are storm chasing, Corey.
Yeah.
This is a real opinions first, right?
Yeah. You know what? Have we ever immersed ourselves into our podcast this much before?
We're gonna take a Dodge truck and go into the storm. Yeah. We're not quite at final thoughts yet, though, are we?
No, because we're hitting the climax of the movie now. So.
Yeah, we've got the final scene where they finally catch the F5, right?
Did it end up being an F5 or was it like a solid F4?
No, it was an F5.
Okay.
Well, how could they not have an F5? They built it up the whole movie, right?
Because they alluded to the fact that the one at the very beginning was an F5.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway.
We might not be quite at the F5. We'll skip to the F5, okay?
Well, we might as well, right?
Yeah.
For all you hearing that is rain pelting my windshield. So.
Yep. That is legitimately a pelt of rain. This is a weird pelt of rain for whatever reason, Corey. Because this did this to the exact same spot the other day. Exact same spot. And then it's like not that bad in town.
Yeah.
There's like a weird band of rain clouds. So the Dodge, the impervious Dodge finally buys it in this scene, eh?
Yeah. Because what they do is they, of course, strap down. They realize they have to strap down Dorothy, and then they had put the little Pepsi can wings on the balls. Holy fuck!
Yeah, this is crazy. Hey, we are literally in a wild storm. You guys are probably hearing the windshield. Like, it's hard to talk over, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and now we're out of it. And now, it's gonna come back again. And I'm pretty sure that's the same cow. Would you? I would believe we would see a cow right now.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
It looks like everything's in the horizon, though, so I don't think it's over us anymore, but we're still feeling it, so.
I have an appreciation after the aftermath of this scene where when they span out and they do the end credits, you can see the swath of destruction, eh?
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
go ahead. Nope, you go ahead.
They actually allude to in the new movie. They actually call them EF5s and all this stuff now because that's what they're actually called now. And they hammer home that the F rating has nothing to do with the size of the tornado.
What?
It has everything to do with how much destruction it caused.
Oh.
Which they allude to in the first movie here, but it's a throwaway line. Whereas in the new movie, yeah, they hammer that home. And I think it's because there were probably people pissed off. They're like, oh, it's bigger, so it's an F3. Oh, it's bigger, it's an F4. That's not how it works.
Well, like they do it. A bigger tornado would make more damage, though,
granted, right? So,
like,
but if it's like half a mile base and it only goes for like 2 seconds, so
they say that thing's like a mile wide in this movie.
Yeah.
So like, that's a pretty big.
That's a big fucking base.
Yeah, that's a huge fucking tornado. It's so unrealistic when they tie themselves to that bar.
Yeah. How their clothes didn't get torn off, if nothing else.
Their limbs!
Yeah, that's what I said, if nothing else. So.
This thing gets ripped apart a frickin' barn like nothing to shreds. Their vehicle's gone. Everything's gone in this thing. Yet, this flimsy little metal bar, all their clothes, all their limbs are intact. It makes no sense.
Going back to what you said, I think that was an irrigation pipe too, so.
And it wouldn't hold that good. Irrigation pipe's not supposed to be hold stuff down to the ground. It's the mode of transportation. There's almost no strength to an irrigation pipe.
I that's all I gathered because it was the way the pipe shot out of the ground, and I think there was a tap. Like, I think that's what that
it was a water thing.
Yeah.
Because it's spraying out at the end of it. It like gently broke.
Yeah. Just a crack.
Just a crack,
yeah.
Right? Everything else is gone. Just totally gone. It's a pretty cool visual of them going to the farm field, though, or the cornfield.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like a horror movie.
Yeah. What? We'll
don't do it. Don't do it.
When I was a child, I considered this a horror movie when I was a kid because it scared the bejesus out of me. It's not a horror movie. I will not make that argument. It's definitely not a horror movie.
All right, you win this time.
But it did scare the crap out of me as a kid.
Well, that's fair. Although again, I was 17 when it came out, so I was okay. So.
Yeah, I was much younger. I was like 12 or 13 when this came out, right? What did we say? Was it 95, 96?
96.
96. It's actually newer than I want to say it is. But up by the turning sign. I always felt like it was like a 94, 95 movie, right?
Well, I'm glad in a sense that it was this late because there were so many good fucking movies coming out in 94 and 95. This movie would have been buried.
Oh yeah. Not that 96 wasn't a good year for movies.
No, but
there was some classics come out that year.
Off the top of my head, and I'm not saying that, but off the top of my head, I couldn't name one.
You couldn't name Independence Day?
Was that 96? Okay, that was 96. You're right.
Yeah. And, what else came out in 96? Didn't one of the Ace Venturas come out in 96? I want to say When Nature Calls came out in 96.
Maybe?
That might have been 95, though. Space Jam came out in 96.
All right.
Toy Story came out in 96.
No, Toy Story was 95.
It was 95?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Space Jam was 95 too, then. I know for certain Independence Day was 96.
Yeah, no, you're right when you say that, and Space Jam, you're right when you say that.
Yeah. I'm not going to Google check it. So if you're saying I'm right, I'm going to accept this as a win.
Yeah, just take the win.
Yeah, just for this one time. So, where does this belong in the video store, Corey? It's like, there's some thought to be there, really.
It's a tough call because it's not a cookie cutter action flick.
No, it's got some action, but it's not.
But it's not really a drama either, and it's definitely not a comedy.
No, it's got a little bit of tongue in cheek.
Yeah, a little bit of Philip Seymour Hoffman keeping things light, but yeah so
you've got the yuppie Philip flipping around with her phone, you know. Matt, how did I not notice that she was a sex therapist that whole time?
Well,
Wait,
it's like all the questions were sex related.
They really, like, cell phone shamed people, eh? Like, look how everyone else was living in the moment with a cell phone, and she had her cell phone there.
Yeah.
That is not how society is nowadays.
I would have thought, and I mean, maybe this was post that, but I would have thought her beeper would have kept going. But maybe this was just past the point of beepers.
Yeah, 96.
I don't
Cell
remember when
phones,
beepers left.
cell phones, beepers were still around in 96 for sure, but like, cell phones were just gaining traction in 96, right?
I didn't get my first phone until 2000, I think.
That's about
So-
when I got mine too.
Yeah.
But that was kind of more of an age thing. My dad had a bag phone when like 94, 93.
Nice.
But
Yeah, we never had that. My parents had the big brick Motorola's.
oh
Not
my!
the brick, sorry, but like the flip phone bricks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
My dad had a bag phone earlier than that. I remember it was like a big deal. It was like 1990. He had a truck
guys
phone.
were loaded, hey?
Oh well, yeah, he was a Jeff Origin story here. He was a tool push on an oil rig, so he was making the bank back in the day. Like my dad was just loaded. Kind of squandered it all. No offense, Jimmy, if you're listening, but I shouldn't say squandered it. That's an incorrect term. But like, yeah, you know that bag of money he made back in the 80s and the 90s. It's gone.
I think of 13 Ghosts, it's like, we had a family fortune until our Uncle Sire squandered it. We have a family fortune? Yes, but Uncle Sire squandered it.
Where else could it land other than drama? I don't like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's not an action.
Unrelated 13 Ghosts thing again is, did you know the Uncle Cyrus there, so the protagonist of the movie, or antagonist, sorry, of the movie, I don't know why I said protagonist, the antagonist of the movie there, was actually the guy in Last Action Hero who was John Practice, like the cop that ended up turning coat or whatever?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
F. Murray Abraham.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
When we eventually do Last Action Hero, I
Which
will
I
keep
own it
an eye.
now, finally, so.
Oh, do you know?
I bought a 2-pack on Blu-ray for $10 of Last Action Hero and Cliffhanger.
Online or do you?
No, it was Amazon. Nothing to shout out for this one.
Oh, okay.
I've got other things I can shout out when we do. Like I have the Creep Show Collector's Edition I got from the lobby.
Oh, nice.
So, love you, Kevin.
I have never made the lobby. I am going to have to go. That's just it's kind of in the U of A area, right?
Yeah, it's White Ave. It's on White Ave.
It's right on White Ave?
It's right on White Ave.
Oh, now I'm shocked that I haven't been there.
There's a Royal Bank and a couple other things like right there, and it's in the basement of one of the storefronts.
I am going to definitely have to check it out. I've spent some time on White Ave, and I've never found my way in the
we'll
lobby.
make a road trip too.
Yeah, we'll make a road trip out of
Yeah.
it.
Because God knows I can get more stuff from him.
The last time I was on White Ave, it was kind of a sad state of affairs. Like, you know, I guess it did not feel...
Was it 06?
No.
Because that was a sad day too. So.
Well, that was a sad day for a different reason. No,
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was pre or post pandemic, but I just remember like this street used to be so full of character,
Yeah.
and like that had died.
Yeah.
Banks had started coming in there on every corner. You know, Chapters is closed, which like, you know, say what you will about Chapters being like a big, huge thing. It was still a pretty cool bookstore that was like 2 stories high.
I like WeBook Inn, just off of White Ave.
I thought WeBook Inn closed down.
It did.
Yeah.
No, it moved and...
Oh, did it move?
It moved and it's not as big anymore, which is okay because it is a WeBook Inn. But,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's still there.
I feel like a bunch of the stores I used to love on White Ave have kind of been disappearing. Or maybe it's like the old bars are kind of disappearing.
The bars
right?
definitely. There was a witchcraft, legit, like, take seriously witchcraft shop in White Ave I went to before when I was like 20 years old. Then I'm pretty sure it's gone. So.
Whoa,
But that seems like it fits White Ave, right? So.
Yeah. But there's always the White Ave was full of those kooky little stores.
Yeah, and that's I love that. I always make the comment about wanting to get lost in concrete jungles to find those kooky little stores. White Ave was my first experience with it.
Oh, White... You know what? White Ave was a culture shock for me, too. Like, White Ave was the first time I've been taken up to White Ave with my friends in high school, and I was just like, what is this world? Like, this is wild to me, right? Blew me away first time. And I feel like it's lost a lot of its charm. Army and Navy used to be my favorite store. You could find such good deals, right? And it breaks my heart that that's just like an empty lot right now.
Yeah, that was, I think, the biggest store on White Ave at one point.
I could see that.
Yeah. I remember shopping at the Army and Navy in Saskatoon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was any other ones around. I just knew of the White Ave one, and that was it.
Well, when I moved to Edmonton and I saw it there, I'm like, that's a thing? I thought that was just a store in Saskatoon. So.
Yeah. I wonder if the rest of them were all closed down.
I'm pretty sure the business itself is done. So.
That was such a good store. Anyway, we still haven't figured out where this thing belongs in the video store.
You know what? I'm going to stick with drama too.
Did we make disaster movie its own genre? I don't think
we
we
could,
have.
but it wouldn't fill up enough. There's not enough disaster
So
movies.
after this movie, it filled up pretty good. Like every week there was a new disaster movie.
Well, I guess if you count the straight to DVD bullshit B-rate, whatever, I guess we could, yeah.
Well, there was so many big budget disaster movies after this.
Well, there was, but like I said, not enough.
No. Final thoughts on the 1996 classic Twister?
I had a friend who talked about how much he hated this movie.
What?
And I got so mad at him for it. And the more I rewatch it, the more it really is a terrible movie, but I love every second of it. It's what's it called? It's acted well enough, don't get me wrong, but it's written pretty poorly. Its characters are pretty two-dimensional. It's really not good, but it's fun as fuck. Like, I love the movie, so...
Despite the characters being two-dimensional, they still felt like real characters. That's what blew me away. At least, like, the group that went tornado hunting, as two-dimensional as they were, they still felt like real people, even though there was no substance to them.
No, and they were so... The fact that they were so two-dimensional, they didn't really seem to have a lot of chemistry together. They each had their own charm, especially like Philip Seymour Hoffman, but they had no chemistry as a whole. For a fact that they're supposed to be a group that's been around for years working together.
I would disagree that they had no chemistry, but it wasn't oozing off the screen. I'll give you that. I'm trying to think of a great ensemble cast where there's good chemistry between them, and I don't know. What do you think? Knives Out, maybe?
Usual Suspects?
Oh, there's some good chemistry in Usual Suspects. Yeah, there's some good chemistry in Usual Suspects. That's a movie that's going on the list. That we have to do Usual Suspects.
I don't own that one.
What do you feel about Avengers? Do you think there's good chemistry in Avengers? I feel like in the second one they have really good chemistry.
Yeah, the first one was more an individual movie, like each of them individual, but yeah, then they did develop chemistry for sure. So.
Yeah, I think by the second one, which makes sense.
Right.
Even though that was...
You can't have chemistry when you first meet someone.
Don't let Mike hear this, but I don't think Age of Ultron's a good movie. Don't let him hear me disparaging the MCU. I have this thing to uphold that it's an amazing thing. And if he hears me saying anything bad, he's going to be like, wait a minute!
Age of Ultron is not a good movie, although it does have one of the most iconic parts in it out of the entire MCU.
Like the hammer lift?
Yes.
There is some really good parts to Age of Ultron. James Spader as a robot?
Yeah.
Thank
his
you.
voice is so silky, right?
Oh, yeah. And there is some good stuff in there. Like, I don't totally like the way they did Hulk in that one. Like, sending him off to space the way they did.
Oh, okay.
But I'm glad they did it, right? And I get why he sent himself to space. You know, some of the stuff with the Infinity Stones and Thor was kind of stupid. The first fight against Hydra, that's gold, eh?
Yeah, the opening scene was pretty good.
Yeah.
When they're in whatever country they were in, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it like a super famous actor they used, and then it is like he's in 2 scenes? Not Ralph Fiennes.
Well, they had Andy Serkis in that for the first time, and then...
No, I'm talking about like in the very first scene though. He was like Baron Strucker, and it was a very famous actor, and then it was just like, yeah, he's dead. He's gone. He's toast. He's done.
I can't remember now. Yeah.
But we're not talking about that movie.
No, let's, okay, so final thoughts. Again, not a good movie, but a fun movie. And I love those type of movies, to be honest, because I don't pick apart movies. I go for opinions, hence why I started this whole thing. And as an opinion, it is a fun movie that I think everybody needs to watch at least once. That said, 2.75 out of 5.
2.75 out of 5, eh? I'm going to give it a similar ranking. For me, it's a Raiders of the Lost Ark all day long. Like, yeah, movie's got some flaws, but damn, is it ever fun. That's a Raiders of the Lost Ark as it can get to me.
I thought that would be more of a temple. But...
Or, no, did I... Sorry. So, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Why...
when you said Raiders, I'm like, Raiders is a high regard.
No. I meant Temple.
Okay.
I've done this a few times where I've said this movie, and then I've been like, no. In my head, it was this, and then it came out wrong.
See, while I've not quantified yours, I still get them, if that makes sense. So
yeah, well,
I totally agree with
Temple of Doom is exactly what you said. It's not a great movie, but it's a good movie. Like it's good enough, and it's really fun, right?
Yeah.
And that's Temple of Doom all day long.
Yes.
I think you're getting it.
I'm getting there, but difference is I'm not trying to quantify them.
You know, it's an unquantifiable thing.
That's the best things. I love things like that.
It is more of a descriptive scale.
Yeah.
Right? It's a way to be like quality and enjoyability together. So, with that being said, in this rainy day, Corey, you want to give your shout-outs that you got to give?
Yeah, so the mini Blockbuster box is going supremely well. This community is amazing. I love you all. Thank you so much. It's, I'll always go a couple times a week, and I'll fill it up, and I'll alphabetize it, and I'm funny that way. But, what's it called? I still enjoy it. So, and I enjoy everybody who's been a part of it, everybody who's added to it. My buddy in Tofield, who runs the database, check it out if you're down that way, is donating to me a crap ton of movies. And I'm hoping to get them by next week here, or this week coming up, I should say. So I'm pretty excited for that. And then I can start digging them out to all the other guys who want to build their box. I know Laura has got a box now, so that's pretty cool. So many Blockbuster cameras and its associates.
I have that's going to be a video store of cameras, or a mini video store of cameras in Laura's.
There you go. I was wondering what she was going to do. Yeah. So.
Yeah, she's going to get some video store decals for it. So
nice.
But she's gotta.
Yeah.
She's gotta. Mine's coming out here right away too, as soon as I paint it. And we hear Mike is going to try to build a Optimus Prime one. Let's see if that happens, eh? I think it's a cool idea, but I also think it's super ambitious.
Yeah. There's one thing about our group. We love what we do. We're passionate about what we do, but we just don't have time.
Yes.
We're all very, very, very busy people. Mike is wearing thin on a good day, but his heart is in the right spot, so good for him. So.
That man does too much, and that's coming from a person who's currently on call and working out at Big Valley Jamboree at the same time, and doing a podcast.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, hit us up on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify, obviously. Eventually, and TikTok. We're a little slacky on TikTok lately, but check us out. We're there.
Okay, same bad time, same bad channel.
See you next week.